welcome to the Talking Timelines podcast. We are four women with 4 points of view and 4 accents with one common goal: to share insights and information about what's going on in the world from a higher consciousness perspective. No BS, no PC, just lots of ideas that you won't hear on mainstream media. We chat, we laugh, and most of all, we shed and share light. Join us each week as we talk timelines.
Hi everyone, welcome to Talking Timelines episode 9, and today we're going to be talking about all sorts of things. So first off, I'm going to kick off with this new TV series that I've started watching on Netflix, because I'm into really picking up on the predictive programming that's going out in the world, particularly through big platforms like Netflix and Tubi and stuff like that. And I've only just started watching it, but it's called The Three-Body Problem. And I thought, what a weird name that was for a TV series. And then I looked it up to see what three-body problem meant. And it's a scientific term, physics, and it means to take the initial positions and velocities or momenta of 3-point masses that orbit each other in space and calculate their subsequent trajectories using Newton's laws of motion and Newton's laws of universal gravitation. Well, in the series, it's about the 3 planets and their connection and extraterrestrials, and that's going to be coming in later on. But what's happening in it is the scientists are getting visions of when you see music on a screen in a studio and it's like up and down white lines, like you can see the waves. So they get these like crackly waves as a vision in their eyes, and then it turns into a clock. So it might say 1 day, 10 hours, 40 minutes and 10 seconds. And the clock's continually counting down with all these scientists, top scientists in the world. And basically they're the ones dabbling with things like nanotechnology and, stuff that could be used in a negative way if it was in the wrong hands. And if they don't, they basically get a warning from extraterrestrials that if they don't stop what they're doing, they'll be dead within 2 days. So it starts off with some of these scientists just killing themselves for no reason. Happy, normal people, they start having this vision. It's always less than a 2-day clock. And then if they don't stop their scientific experimentation, they kill themselves. So their minds are taken over and they commit suicide. And it's linked in with China and all kinds of stuff. It's really interesting. And I've been reading about what's coming. So it looks like the ETs are getting involved with science on the planet. And I just thought, wow, this is sending out some really interesting predictive programming. Like, are we to expect a lot of these scientists to disappear? Or, something like that going on? And I also noticed, because you guys know I read that book about the trauma-based mind control, they use a lot of the code words that are in that book in the series as well. There's the code words such as Alice in Wonderland is an Illuminati code word. It's one of the code words. And, the hand signal with your little finger and your index finger up. So that's meant to be the devil's horns. So there's symbology in it as well. So obviously, if that kind of symbology is in it, we've got a good idea who was behind writing it in that respect, or else those things wouldn't have been in the show. But I just wanted to share it with people because it's an interesting concept, and it just feels like it could be some mass predictive programming that is kind of getting us used to the idea of a lot of these scientists disappearing, whether it's through one thing or another, whether it's through justice being done or whether it's through whistleblowers being, disappeared with or something like that. I don't know. But there's a big predictive programming going on with it for sure. Has anyone else seen it or noticed it?
No? I haven't seen that particular series or program, but I did hear that there are going to be quite a few suicides that were going to be coming up. I thought it was going to happen in May of 2 years ago. And but imagine that with everything that's coming out right now, if there's anybody that was involved in any type of experiment or study that is malice and malicious against the humanity, I could see them going away.
Yeah. And the other thing on, did you see that that video on Instagram this week about that girl that the doctor was trying to force her to give her child the ADHD drugs? Did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a really interesting video. Basically, this doctor diagnosed her child with ADHD and said, you need this medication. It's probably Ritalin is the most common one they use. And she was saying, no, I want a second opinion. He said, well, I'm giving you a second opinion. I am your doctor. I'm giving you the first and the second opinion. And if you don't give the medication to your child, I'm going to report you to child welfare. And it's going around Instagram, this video at the moment. So it's just like, wow. When are these doctors going to get off their pedestal that they've put themselves on, that they can threaten to report you to, welfare for not giving your child medication, that they're not even offered a choice? So you can see the separation now of, I'm not saying all doctors are bad. I've got some really close friends that are doctors and nurses, very good friends of mine. It's not that, but there are some out there that shouldn't be working, and certainly shouldn't be telling young mothers things like that. So there's a lot of this stuff going on at the moment, and a lot of stuff being exposed as well. You can see the changes. What have you been picking up on out there?
Well, I was going to say it's really interesting because I think it works both ways, is that they've been given this power that you don't question the doctor because they're the experts. So they're intimidating. And most of the time, the mother, who's really not one of those who's going to seek out her own information, is going to feel like the doctor's words are gospel and I have to listen and I can't question because they don't feel empowered. So it kind of works both ways. The doctors are given the power, and then the patients then view them that way. So it becomes almost like a self-fulfilling, situation there. So it has to really change on both parts. People need to be more empowered to do their own research, to make their own decision. And you know what? She could take the kid right out there and say, fine, go to child services, because it's probably more of a threat than anything else. And then she goes to another doctor. It's just, she probably was intimidated, and I don't know what the outcome was, but that's the thing. I think it works both ways, is that people need to be empowered, and the doctors, there are a lot of doctors that are very aware and that aren't like that, but there are quite a bit that will use that intimidation and will use that power that they've been given.
When we hear about stories, from time to time. And so, like, for example, it's happening, same thing with schools too. Whereas there's parents that are, hearing about their child and what they're discussing in class, and they're not happy about it, because why are they talking about sexual relations at the age of 11 and in their schools? And so parents have that moment to decide, I pull my kid out of there. This is not right. This is not why my kid is in school to learn that. So they're pulling their kids out. Or also, it's like and a wake-up call too, to look at alternatives to, like, the drug approach, right? And so, which is the way that it should be from day one, is we don't have an outside party outside of the family that is there to tell us our path in life, especially if there's, one of the kids or family members has an issue or problem that could escalate, or is alarming. You would think that it's safe to go to a doctor, but when you have that type of response, that right there is like, okay, a lot of people will say, I need to look at an alternative for my child, or they're going to go along with that doctor. And a lot of people, as we know from the last 5 years, they go along with their doctor. So we'll see how things change, because in every country we're seeing stuff like this happen. And but we're also seeing parents stand up more than ever too.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, my family have gone through a lot, and a lot of problems with hospitals and doctors and things not being done right. All of them. My mom, for example, she had a hip replacement when she was 76, and normally they've got you up and walking really quickly, but she was complaining of pain and saying she didn't want to walk. And my mum's the kind of woman that would give birth in a field and wrap the baby up and get on with picking cotton. She was that kind of woman. She was strong, Celtic. Never complained when she was sick or anything like that. Sent her home, And in the end, you know, I was phoning an ambulance saying something's not right here. Something's really not right. The pins had come out of the hip replacement. Can you imagine how painful that must have been? And they were forcing her to walk. And one of the nurses actually called her a baby. Stop being a baby, when she was complaining with the pain. And when I was 3, my mum phoned a doctor to come and see me because I had pains in my stomach and I couldn't stop crying. And doctor said it was just colic, and she was being an overprotective mother. And luckily, next door neighbour, a couple of doors away, was a midwife, and my mum went and got the midwife, and she called an ambulance, and it was a burst appendix.
Wow.
So, right, I was 3, and that was 1968. I was 3.5 at the time, and that's just a couple of experiences. I could go on. Pretty much everyone in my family has been through something similar with hospitals. My sister's cancer, where she was told she was psychosomatic, there was nothing wrong with her, for 4 years, and then by the time they found the tumor, it was 4 inches big. So, you know, my whole life I've been steered away from, you know, the standard medical system. It's like, you know, something going wrong after misdiagnosis, after just shameful stuff, really. You know, a doctor telling my mum that she was just an over-worrying mother. Mums know things. They do. And there's any mums out there, never listen to anyone telling you your child's not sick. If you think your child's sick, take them to accident and emergency. Always trust your gut feeling. It saves lives when people trust their gut. And no one knows their children like their mom. You don't. You can feel them.
You know, and the good thing is that, you know, we're moving in, you know, we're moving in an area where a lot of that is going to change. I mean, even doctors are going to have to change because, you know, they're going after the pharmaceutical companies. So a lot of this stuff is not going to be available to even prescribe. So they're going after that. So just for instance, there's a holistic health educator. It says become a national board certified health and wellness coach. It's an 18-month course and you have to get board certified. You have to go and take a state test in the state that you live in, and you have to become board certified. But what this is, it's opening up for people that are more in a holistic type of care for individuals instead of pharmaceutical care. And you're going to see a lot of this coming up, and doctors at some point are going to have to, they're not going to be the gods, you know, the wealth driven, where they're getting all these kickbacks for all these different pharmaceuticals and medications that they're prescribing. They're not, it's going to be a thing of the past. And there is, you know, there is a place for good doctors. I mean, not everybody can reset a limb, or, you know, there is going to be a place for that. But it's not going to be so profit driven, more care for the actual individual, healing the person, you know, not giving them, you know, 5 or 6 different medications and then having to put another medication on top of that medication because of side effects from the other medication they're taking. They got to take another pill for the side effects. So it's just a vicious circle. And people, they're taking 6, 7 different 10 different pharmaceutical drugs when they wake up, you know, before the day ends, you know, in a 24-hour period. So it's crazy. It is crazy. And you were talking about education. So they're deleting the American United States Department of Education for those reasons. That's one of the things that's on the, what is it? The US aid is a fraudulent department. And so, and what they're doing with the money, and it's not a department that's always been there either. You know, it was basically brought to the forefront as pretty much a slush fund like all the rest of them. So all of that is, you know, is changing.
Doctors have got their place when it comes to trauma and accidents and stuff like that. You know, they're brilliant, but there definitely needs to be a merging of the holistic as well. You know, that's like the complementary and the allopathic. Alternative is different. People don't, complementary and alternative is different, obviously, because complementary is working with alongside allopathic and alternative is instead of. I think there needs to be a merging, mainly because there's a lot of good doctors out there. There are a lot of good doctors. They go into it because they do care about people, and the system has kind of dragged them into this, writing prescriptions for everything, which we all know don't cure anything. They just suppress the symptoms. What we need is prevention is better than cure in schools, so that we're learning this from a young age, how to take care of ourselves.
So I have an interesting personal story to share about this exact, the contrast of these two. So way back when I was maybe 21 or 20, right after I graduated college, I had very bad stomach pains for actually a couple of years, and didn't know what it was from, but first went to a traditional gastroenterologist, actually one of the top in New York, and they did an upper GI series, and I had too much acid in my stomach, classic symptoms of an ulcer, what they said. So what they do, okay, mind you, I'm 20 years old. They gave me a prescription for Zantac, because then it was prescription. Now it's not. It was a prescription. I remember then it was $1 a pill. So you can imagine how expensive this was. I had to take Zantac twice a day. He gave me another medication if the pain was really severe, and then told me to take antacids when I needed. And at the time, I was commuting into the city from Long Island, and I literally used to carry a bottle of antacids, which I was drinking on the train if I had stomach aches. Like, this is what I was doing. Now, luckily, my parents were very holistically minded, and they were pretty advanced for the time. My mother knew about an alternative doctor, and she said, it's going to be weird. It's going to seem like witchcraft, because he was using kinesiology. Now, he was a complementary physician, and he was like he was like a neurologist or something, top medical schools, Columbia, top medical schools, but he decided to specialize in preventative medicine. So I went to see him, and he did a blood test as well, because they rule out anything really serious. And what he found was that I had many food sensitivities. I had malabsorption, which therefore caused my immune system to be lowered, which caused more malabsorption. So it was this cycle. I was so relieved that I was able to find the cause and not just treat, with antacids or all these other, treat the too much acid. So it took some time. I was given supplements, to heal the stomach, and we did food testing. So I was eliminating all of the foods that were irritating, and it was completely healed. And it was there was such a contrast in just perspective. One of them is, okay, let's treat your symptom. Let's give you this. Doesn't matter that at this age, you shouldn't be having these kind of issues. And the other doctor had a completely different approach and said, well, let's find out what's causing this. So it changed my life, because I never, ever, ever after that took my health for granted, and I took responsibility for it. And I just like, wow, I know my body has the ability to heal as long as you give it the right things, or you really find out what's causing it. Then, it's not to say, obviously, like we just said, there are times when you may need an antibiotic. There are times you may need emergency room, but I feel that most things are actually treatable with complementary or alternative medicine.
Yeah, unless you break a leg, and stuff like that. But we're even moving into technology now that can heal broken bones and things. The stuff that is mainstream is old hat. There's a lot of sci-fi technology out there in healing as well. And I got something came through the other day on Tesla Care or something. It looks like a curling iron that you plug in. It's $500. And I presume it's sending electromagnetic frequencies into the body, to heal and bring back to the original blueprint frequencies. So there is a lot of stuff out there. But just in general, I thought maybe it'd be nice if we could give some people at home some tips on what they can do. That's not going to cost them anything, just to promote healthy living, like not using fluoride toothpaste and fluoride mouthwashes and things like that, because that fluoride is damaging your pineal gland, and it goes straight through all the nervous system from the gums up into your brain, as neurotoxins as well. So I know, you're all on this level, so let's just go to Susan first. What do you do for your general health care, preventative?
Well, aluminum deodorant is one of them. I don't participate in that. So I just try to get, things that are, but you have to be careful because even when stuff is called vegan and, you know,
Natural.
right, where it's all organic and healthy, doesn't really necessarily mean that it is. But there is this app, it's called Bobby, and it's free. And all you do, like when you're in the grocery store, it does hair products, it does, it's not just food. And you can scan the item, the little barcode, and it'll tell you whether it's Bobby approved. And if it's not Bobby approved, it will explain to you why it's not and what is in there that they think, well, this shouldn't be a Bobby approved item. So that's nice because you can't go, I mean, even when you turn something over, you can't even pronounce half of these words, let alone know what they're all about. And you can't sit there and on your phone and look up every single chemical that's in something. And I mean, another thing is I try to use like cold pressed. I started doing my beauty regimen. I've started making my own oils for my face, out of cold press. Like you can get apricot oil, which is a beauty oil. The one I just found is called prickly pear. It is something from the Berber women of Morocco, and it's a cactus. So, and you need to find holistic places like well, the one it's called B&H oils. And then, by putting in essential oils added to that, I've got, 2 or 3 different type of carrier oils. I'll put frankincense and I just have all these little concoctions that I do. And then I use them and I see how they, how they actually absorb into my face and stuff. So there's all kinds of, like I made my own shampoo the other day. Yes, I have a non-chemical shampoo. So,
Fantastic.
and I'm not putting, and so my body lotion is out of that. So I'm not putting any chemicals on my skin because your skin is the largest organ of your body. It absorbs everything. So, like when you're cleaning your countertops and stuff, you don't have gloves on and you're using a toxic chemical. And sometimes we need that because it's really sometimes the only thing that cleans it. That absorption is coming right where you're getting all those poisons right through your skin.
Yeah. One of the
So,
great things talking about cleaning
uh-huh.
tops is I bought this really good frying pan and I burnt something in it. Can't remember what it was. And I was just scrubbing and scrubbing and couldn't get it off. And I looked online about how to get burn marks off
Hmm.
pans, and bicarbonate soda and lemon.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And
Hmm.
it cleans so many different things.
Hmm. And we're spraying Clorox on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
people think that bleach is the way it gets rid of germs and all that, but then there's a negative effect with the fumes and
Oh
also
yeah.
what if you touch it with no gloves, right? So there's people don't realize that, believe it or not. It's 2025 and people don't realize that.
Yeah, and it's important to wear gloves when you're washing the dishes as well, because just
Hmm.
even the soaps from dishwash, I'm really funny about that. I like my rubber
Me
gloves
too. Me
when
too.
I'm
Too.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what about what's your routine, Lisa, with just general everyday healthcare?
Well, going back to what Laura had shared, I just want to share that I think that it would be nice if there's people that come into like with malaise or something that they know is not right with their body, that everybody gets a full blood panel done or profile done. They get a parasite test, like a full panel on that, because some of the tests like you're gonna like I had my sister, I have a twin sister, she had gone to Jamaica one year and then she for 2 years had suffered with the effects of it. She didn't feel right, she was losing some hair, things like that, and the doctor that she went to they kept putting her on antibiotics. And then there was one doctor that said, we're going to test you for parasites. There you go. It's a blastoma, right?
Mm.
Some kind of parasite. And then once she had antibiotics for 30 days on that, it was gone. But now we know that there are alternative methods to get rid of parasites too, that are more gentler, that don't require antibiotics. And then also, so the full blood panel, parasites, and also food sensitivities or allergies. I think those three things could really help a person upon a first appointment with their practitioner, etc. I don't have a doctor right now. My doctor retired, and then I'm looking for a nurse practitioner just so that I can get some of these tests done without question, right? Doctors I've had in the past have been very fortunate. They've been pretty good. And I always seem to lean towards the female doctor. But for a day-to-day basis, I'm always drinking, as you can tell, this big jar here. It's a liter of lemon salted water for electrolytes and just for hydration. So I drink about 2 to 3 of those a day. I eat as clean as possible and do not snack. That's one thing I can say in the last couple of years, is that I've let go of snacking. And but at the same time, I did go into a problem where the last few months I wasn't eating enough calories throughout the day. So guess what? At around 10 o'clock at night, I'm eating the plain yogurt with a tablespoon of honey, right? All good ingredients and everything, but the time at night is like, I put on weight. I like what I look like in the mirror because I no longer have cellulite. I got rid of that based on my diet. But all my pants were tight. I was telling you, Janine, right? All my pants are tight. And it was that. So, nip and tuck, but then sometimes, like that's why I'm doing right now a 36-hour fast every Monday of the month of March, because I'm also in menopause now. And I really want to regulate my hormones more so, like insulin and cortisol, that type of thing. So what I eat, and when I do eat, I try to make the healthiest choices while staying away from sugar. And I will have natural sugars that are in like frozen blueberries that go in my smoothie, or raw cacao, frozen strawberries, things like that. And of course, avocado to thicken the smoothie, right? So yeah, it's pretty good. It's just now, it's again too, is reducing the number of calories. So that's what my day looks like, is, eat when you're hungry, and realize that if you're getting a hunger pang, is it really a hunger pang, or do you just need some water? Things like that.
Okay, great. Laura, what about you?
I would say, as I'm moving out of the sun right now, get in the sun every single day, no sunglasses, no sunscreen. And this is a big controversy, but to me, it innately feels like this is our life force. And there are so many functions there. It's basically, we could live off the sun's energy. I mean, I think breatharians initially did. And when you find out the role that the sunlight plays in your eyes, not only with the circadian rhythm, but between telling your skin to tan so you don't burn, like all this is so important to get sunlight exposed to your eyes without sunglasses. I don't even wear sunglasses. I mean, it's starting to get very, very, very bright, and there are certain times in the day. And obviously, if you're driving, but when I just go out to do my walk, which is another thing that I do, I don't wear sunglasses. Because I know that, especially now, this time of year, we're still not getting as much sunlight. So that's one thing. Get in the sun. I also make sure I do some kind of movement every day. Most days. I mean, if I don't, I just feel like I'm, I could just really feel it. So I either go out and I do probably about a 3-mile walk, or I also have, I think it's called the Chi machine. There's another name for it that my father had and gave me, and I've been using it every single day for 15 minutes. And it's basically just, you put your ankles on this thing and it goes back and forth and also up. So it's this movement, and it moves the lymph, and it apparently does all these different things. And I just make sure every single day I get on this thing. And I think it's also just something, it's 15 minutes when I'm just like lying there relaxing. So it's also just like another nice little thing. But I don't know really if I notice any benefits yet. I wasn't really, I just had this thing and I said, okay, I'm just going to use it. So movement, sunlight, also every morning, first thing before I eat anything, I have a tall glass of lemon water. Really, really important first thing, because you do get dehydrated overnight because you're obviously not consuming any liquids, and also your body's detoxing. So it's really, really important to flush that out. That I got from the medical medium. He was just, if I did the celery juice thing for a while, but stop that. But every single morning, tall glass of lemon water on an empty stomach. And then I eat super clean and but I'm very, very in tune. And I think that's the thing too, is that if you, like you were saying, Janine, if you get in tune with your body, and Lisa, you were just saying the same thing. I mean, we're all saying it basically, is that just like see what your body needs. Sometimes we think it's something else, and yet it really just may be going outside and getting fresh air. You really not be sluggish or tired. You just need to get outside. So I'm very in tune, and I kind of say, am I really feeling like this, or do I just need that? Do I just need more water? Sometimes I just feel like, wow, I actually need to eat some protein. It could be that kind of thing. There could be really subtle things, but of course, I have a shower filter in my bathroom, which is also super, super important. It's not enough to just drink filtered water, especially if I'm taking a bath, because it's a shower head. I let the shower water run and fill up the tub, because think about it. You're sitting in a tub, like
Yeah.
you were talking about, with you're absorbing
Your
it.
skin.
So if you're with
Mhm.
chlorinated water, just think about it. Your body is soaking in it. And if it's hot water, you're inhaling it. So it's chlorine. We don't have fluoride in our water anymore, but even still, it was just all the other chemicals they put in. So getting a shower filter, so important. People don't realize the steam, you're breathing this in.
Mm.
Things like, I mean, I'm just gonna like go up, things like aluminum foil. Like, this is aluminum cans. It's getting into your body. Aluminum actually affects your brain. It causes Alzheimer's. I haven't used a microwave in probably 20 years.
Yeah.
All these little things that actually can have a really, really big impact on your overall health. So, I mean, I can keep going, but I think you guys get the point.
Yeah, no, good, good. The microwave thing is an important one because, I mean, I'm like you, Laura. I've had a microwave for years and years and years. And even when I did have one, I only used it to heat up the bean bag to keep my dog warm in the winter. It's
Yeah.
bedtime. He'd hear the microwave ping and he'd get all excited because he had a nice warm bean bag to lie on in bed. But when you go to restaurants or cafes or anything like that, they use microwaves. And I'm really fussy about it. Like some things comes out and it's not warm enough and they take it away to heat it up. I'm like, don't put that in the microwave. I want a fresh one. If it's cold, I don't want it reheated in microwaves. And just being aware of things like that as well. Because if you don't ask, they're just going to stick it in the microwave. And I'm really funny about stuff like that. Like you girls, I take hot water with slice of lemon and pinch of sea salt crystals in the morning, and then throughout the day I drink salt water all day long now. I need it. I even wake up in the night to drink water. I drink water before I go to bed. I wake up in the middle of the night to drink more water. So whatever's going on in my body, I'm really dehydrate very quickly. So there's that. I work to the 80-20 rule now. I was on the 100% organic everything, and it just made it really difficult to be sociable with people. I got invited to dinner at the weekend, and you can't go to someone's house and say, I'm sorry, I'm not eating your food. It's not organic. That's just rude. So sometimes
Yeah.
I have to eat what I'm given. But this week, I kept seeing aluminum everywhere. It's like the universe was showing me aluminum. I'm like, what's going on? When I meditated on it, I got told, get some cilantro. So I bought some fresh organic cilantro yesterday. And like you said, tuned into my body and go, how much of this do I need? And I got told, eat that whole bunch over 7 days and it will clean out the aluminum that's gone into your system. I'm like, well, is it something I've eaten? And I got, no, it's just, you're just breathing it in the atmosphere. So I'm listening to my body and giving it what it needs. I haven't eaten meat for 18 years now. I just can't do it. It got to the point where I couldn't even chew and swallow it. So I eat healthy. I work out mostly 5 days a week, but not for very long, 15-20 minutes a day. I made a workout for myself that does a full body workout, and I really notice it. I've moved around a lot, and I'm carrying boxes and suitcases and up and down stairs, and I don't get out of breath. Even I'm shocked at how fit I am these days. And it was just really got into it about 18 months ago is when I started being dedicated to exercise rather than just going for a walk or, you know, something like that, actually doing physical exercises. And I've got a couple of little 5-pound weights and stuff like that just to keep my body stronger. And I've noticed the difference. Plus sleep, very important. I'm one of these people that need a lot of
Yes,
sleep.
me too.
Yeah, I need it. I just need that 8 hours, and I preferably 9 or 10 if I can get them. You know, I don't know why, but my mum used to get 2 or 3 hours sleep. She used to go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning. She got up at 5 for work, and that was her. I don't know how she did it. I would love to be like that. But I did read somewhere once that if you can train your body to sleep on 2 hours a day by every 4. So you go 4 hours and then you take a 30-minute nap, and then 4 hours and then a 30-minute nap. And you keep doing that. And they said it takes about 10 days for your body to fall into that routine. So you can literally live with just those, 30-minute naps 4 times a day. And you don't need to sleep. You're reprogramming your system. So sleep's a funny thing, really. And it's weird that everyone needs different amounts of it. But again, listen to your body. If you're tired, you need to rest. But also, if tiredness can be the result of things like thyroid issues as well and stuff like that. So it's, if you're too tired all the time, there's something wrong. That's not healthy. There's something going on in your system, or someone draining your energy, or something you're eating that's not agreeing with you, and stuff like that. But generally, that's my routine. I eat as healthy as I can, mostly organic. I don't put stuff on my skin. I don't wear deodorant anymore. I don't put creams and potions on my skin. I just use water. I always have just used water on my face. That's my routine. It's not really hard work, but once you get used to it, it's just normal, isn't it? It's just it's no big deal to do it.
I can't nap. I have a block against napping. I have it. I think it stems from when I was a child. You only slept during the day if you were sick. Not that anyone told me that. That was just, oh, if I'm sick, I'm going to sleep during the day. So sleeping during the day, I associate with that. And I could be so exhausted because there are nights that I don't get a lot of sleep. And I could lie down and I can get really relaxed and I just can't cross the threshold into sleep.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
my body won't. And I've tried doing, beliefs. I've tried doing subconscious work and I don't sleep.
I've noticed sometimes when I lie down and I feel tired, and I know I'm getting downloads from the universe, like there's energy coming in, if the sun's really bright in the sky, the energy's coming through. I can actually feel it. I can hear the Schumann resonance. But sometimes maybe, Laura, when you're lying down, just that resting is allowing the energy to come through. But your higher consciousness doesn't want you to go fully to sleep, because when you do, your astral body leaves your physical body and you can't get the download because your astral body's not in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be some of that going on as well.
It does work. I mean, if I lie down and I just kind of close my eyes for a few minutes and whatever, it's usually enough. But sometimes I'm so jealous of people that could just, oh, I'm going to go lie down for 20 minutes and they lie down and they fall asleep. They wake up and now I'm lying there and I'm waiting. Am I sleeping yet? Am I sleeping yet?
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen. Just like the people I'm a very light sleeper too. So the people that could sleep through anything
Yeah.
for hours and never had that in my entire life. But it kind of makes sense because I also have my senses are very heightened to begin with. So I think it makes sense that it's not going to turn off when I sleep. Like I have impeccable hearing. I could smell something 3 miles away. Like I'm very, very sensitive to my environment. So of course it would make sense that I'm going to be a light sleeper.
It would.
Me. Lucky me.
Yeah. It might be worth trying to, in your meditations, turn down your sensitivity a bit so that it's not so overwhelming. I've done that with people before, and they, had some results with it. It might be worth investigating.
Although
doing
I do like having hearing things that nobody else hears and smelling. Like I do love, there are certain aspects of it that it's kind of like, it's like my superpower. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can smell, you know, I used to work in fragrance development, and I was always the one, no, the basis, it's off. I'm telling you, it's like, so, but yeah, I think you're right. It might be a really good idea, just especially when I go to sleep, if there's a
Mm.
sound and I'm too, like, it's a good idea. I never thought about that.
It's worth looking into.
Mm.
Okay. So yeah, that's all I've got to share with people. You know, one of the most important things, there was a video on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, some guy saying the most dangerous thing in your house is actually toothpaste. You know, so that's the biggest and easiest one for everyone to get off of fluoride toothpaste out there, because it's damaging your pineal gland, and your pineal gland is, you know, is important to your spiritual development. It's important to the evolution that we're going through at the moment, because it's the astral doorway into other levels of consciousness, and that's why it's under attack in that way. And there's, you know, fluoride's no good. And the other thing none of us have mentioned is your mercury fillings in your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
There's I watched a video about even just eating, how the gas from the mercury fillings is going, you know, into your system, and it's going into your brain and stuff like that. When I was a kid, my dentist loved putting mercury fillings into us. I had 7 before I was 21 years old. A couple of years ago, I got them all taken out and replaced, you know, with white porcelain. And I'm really glad I did it, because the more I've learned about it, 7 mercury fillings in your mouth is a lot of mercury in your head.
I've got mine taken out too. I just have one left, and it's a big, it's a big job. It's a
Yeah,
really old tooth, but yeah, and you have to have it done right. Very, very important that you go to someone who knows what they're doing, because otherwise you're going to just inhale the mercury
Mhm.
yeah,
that they're
Yeah, it's
putting
yeah,
out.
interesting. It's interesting when you see it done. Like I got mine done 2000, yeah, 25 years ago. And we were at a health retreat for 2 weeks in Baja, Mexico, and we were eating a lot of raw foods, and I had my mercury fillings removed with and then they have this suction that gets rid of all the
Yeah.
fumes, right? And but every city's got them now, those types of dentists that do that. Still, you know, you gotta, you know, do your research too, but it's crazy, like, you know, all these things that, you know, we're told that are good and not good, and then all of a sudden what we learn later, it's just like, what are you doing to us, you know?
yeah,
So you have to kind of you know, be someone that is curious enough to do the research.
yeah, exactly. The other thing that I thought was worth mentioning, as well as the Master Lemonade cleanse. I know we've all tried that one, and that's one of my favorite parasite cleanses. What was giving me the parasites, it was the cheese. It's cheese and dairy that is the biggest problem, and cooked oils like potato chips, too many potato chips, stuff like that, fried food, you know, gives you parasites, because they're attracted to the oils on the
Yeah.
food. So the Master Lemonade cleanse I highly recommend for people. You know, do your research on it. It's not for diabetics, because it's mixing maple syrup with lemon juice and cayenne pepper and water. Basically, they're the 4 ingredients in it. And there's a whole book called the Master Cleanse, the Master Lemonade Cleanse. But it is a good one. The biggest fast I've ever done was 10 days. But the Master Lemonade Cleanse, I've done it for 3 days, and then every now and then I'll do it just for a day. So it's like a top up. But I know now not to have more than 2 slices of pizza. And I used to eat a whole pizza before. So
Yeah.
like I'm 2 slices max. And then I ask my, you know, body, are there any parasites in me? Do I need to do a cleanse? And I get a yes or a no. I teach discernment in most of my workshops, you know, to listen. Usually you ask your body, and no, it will tighten up somewhere. Mine tightens up just under my rib cage, like in my liver area. And you know, that's one of the easiest ones you can do. But there's lots of parasite cleansing stuff on the internet now and on social media, because people, all of a sudden, all this information has come out about the cause of most diseases is parasites.
Mhm.
You know, cancers, parasites, and stuff like that. Actually, Jane read it. She told me about it. That tumors in the body are actually there to protect the body
Mhm.
from, you know, some kind of parasite or something like that. So basically, you've got a tumor, 10% of that is the poisonous stuff inside, and the tumor grows around it to protect your body from the poisonous stuff inside, whatever that is. And then we go and get a biopsy, and they poke a hole in it and release the negative stuff in the core, and that's when it metastasizes into the system. So tumors are not necessarily that bad. You could have a tumor in your body for years and years and years, for 10, 20, 30 years. That's protecting you from something bad in there. So this is where, again, complementary alternative side of it needs to come in, with looking at diseases along those level. And MS as well. I've been reading a lot about MS and parasites in the brain being linked to muscular sclerosis and things like that. So people need to look into parasitic stuff and find out more about it. Basically, if we've got cats and dogs, most people pick up parasites because they've got pets as well. Don't let dogs lick your mouth and stuff like that. There's a lot of people do it. I don't like it. Makes me cringe. But yeah, exactly. But people do. They do. And that's like, you can pick up parasites, just off your own pet. So doing a regular cleanse is a good idea. Even like doing one good cleanse a year, and then just maybe even a day, a month, or something like that, like you're doing, Lisa.
Yeah, we're all led to explore different things as we go. We really are led. If we're paying attention to our energy, we're led to clean up our diet. We're led to get some more exercise. And there's something along the way that will inspire us along the way to help facilitate that as well. You mentioned multiple sclerosis. There was a study that was done in Manitoba. Like Manitoba is what province in Canada, most people know. That they got a lot of sunlight and they got a lot of cold winters, but for some reason like multiple sclerosis is prevalent there.
Interesting.
And it's their lack of vitamin D.
Well, just a simple thing like that.
Just a simple thing like that for something that can turn into something so debilitating, right? And then so I think it's just neat to kind of explore and to learn about our bodies.
Yeah, I do take a vitamin D capsule in the winter if there's no sun. But luckily, actually, here we do even get, in the winter, we get sun here. It still comes out, quite a bit. So it does make a difference. Yeah. Okay, the one other thing I wanted to share as well, which is about, well, while we're on parasites, I remember like many years ago, I went to Sri Lanka and India 3 times. And when I was meditating, I was seeing what looked like something you would see under the microscope, of little things moving around. And then when I woke up from it, I was like, what's that? And I got told, you've got a water-based parasite that you picked up on your vacation. So I thought, what do I need to clear this out of my system? And I got told black walnut. So I went on and bought some black walnut, and I bought 50 capsules for something ridiculous like $10 on eBay, and took one a day for a month, and it completely cleared it up. So there are simple solutions, like the parasite cleanse with the master lemonade cleanse is a simple solution. Black walnut clears water-based parasites and stuff like that. But I only took 1 capsule a day. If you think you've got something like that, find somebody that can do the test, so you're treating it with the right product to help you. Okay, well, unless anyone's got anything else they'd like to share, I think we're about done for today.
I was just going to mention something about skincare. So if a person's going to use skincare, I think it's a good idea to use something that is more like that implements plant extracts, from what I've learned in the last couple of years. And also those companies that do have those products with plant extracts are the ones that have the farms with those plants that are growing those plants. Like, because I got involved a year ago with a company that does that, and it does make a difference with the quality of the products and the absorbability and the results that you get. Prior to that, I was just using face oils, and one that was made by my friend Stefan. And he said, Lisa, you got to try this. Maybe you could take it to a company because it's something that will actually prevent sunburn, right? And anyways, I had these extra bottles and I was using it. I didn't know what to try or whatever. And so, but boy, some of those face oils out there, like the Ayurvedic ones, they smell so amazing and they feel good on the skin, but I didn't notice much of a difference. So the thing is that it's good to be mindful as to, where the ingredients come from, what is making it smell so nice, right? And also, does that company have a smart farm, or they, produce their own ingredients? And that right there is very telling.
Yeah, it
Right.
makes a big difference. So yeah, if you are interested in knowing more, Lisa's information, because she sells these products, is on our YouTube channel underneath our videos, as is Laura's website as well. If you want some help, have a check out her website, and mine is on there as well, and my Patreon channel. So we've got some stuff to share if you want to investigate further. And I think that's is done for today, ladies. So thanks for joining me, and thanks for joining us at home, guys. And we'll see you all again soon on Talking Timelines.
Have the best day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Disclaimer: the content in this podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. The views, opinions, and information shared do not necessarily represent those of the hosts, but is provided for additional perspectives. None of the hosts are medical professionals, so we do not dispense medical advice. Please consult your healthcare professional for any health-related issues. And thank you for listening to Talking Timelines.